is great.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
There's an isolated pass reception. It's touchdown, Drake London.
It's London for the touchdown.
What's going on, Washington Commander Nation? It's your boy Rio, Commander Rio, checking in with my boy Commander Pascal Todd. What's going on, my guy?
Nothing much, man. I'm reporting for duty. I'm marching lockstep. I'm hitting the turns like this. Yeah, I'm in the military. I never thought I would be, but I am.
Oh yeah, I had to bring my fellow comrade on this one because the player that we're going to talk about today, we feel kind of similarly on, and I think we're both sleeping on the prospect. We could be very wrong, and if I'm wrong about the guy, I'll eat crow. But I've definitely taken a second look at this prospect. And before we get to that prospect, this episode, like every other episode, is brought to you by the two sponsors at the top of the overlay. Bet US Sportsbook and Casino. If you're going to get your bet on, do it smart. Do it with Best Bet US Sportsbook for a multitude of sports. Get your parlay poppy on Calvin Ridley style. And like every other episode is brought to you by Washington on the Daily on Instagram. My guy Ray is your number one source and hub for all things Washington Commanders. But let's get to it. The guy in question today is Mr. Drake London, 6'4", 219-pound skyscraper of a receiver out of USC.
I think just being that Swiss Army knife, being good at all the techniques I possibly can be, and having every tool I have in my arsenal.
Do you like inside or outside better?
Wherever coach wants to put me at.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts on him? Like, give me your short-sighted opinion on the guy before we get into detail.
So short-sighted is he catches everything. He's great after the catch, and he plays to his size. Like, I hate a 6'4" guy who plays like he's 5'7". He plays like his size. He catches everything up, high, low, and then he's really physical once he gets the ball. Then the question is, does he separate? What's his speed like? So those are the questions, but the things he does well are pretty clear and obvious, like real highlight type of stuff.
Yeah, man. He's a basketball player. He has a basketball background. I wore my LeBron Heat jersey, just because of the basketball aesthetics of the spot. This dude did a 720 in a high school dunk contest.
Right, exactly. Just athleticism off the charts.
Yeah, he even got some run with the USC basketball team. But,
crazy.
It's just something about his game. I don't know. Maybe I am just traumatized and shell-shocked because of the Josh Doxsons, J.J. Arcega-Whitesides, and N'Keal Harrys of the world. I see these big receivers like Danny Roubier from Grant and Danny. I used to have this fascination, and fetish for huge receivers. Like, we need that here. I need this small forward-looking player. But now I'm just so afraid that they cannot get off press in the league. And they cannot separate, that I've become obsessed with separation. And that's why I don't think I have Drake London as high as I have guys like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams. And from what everybody's been telling me, we are asleep on the guy.
Because if you look around on league, if you watch how the league talks about him, I mean, they love him. Like the number one receiver in the draft. Honestly, I think he's so well liked in NFL circles that he's the least talked about receiver in the media. But and the crazy thing about it too, Real, is that when you go and look at his numbers, look, I know he's playing in the Pac-12.
Insane.
But let me read off his stat line: 8 games before he got hurt. All right, week 1, 12 receptions, 137 yards. Week 2, 4 for 68. Week 3, 13 for 170. Week 4, 10 for 165. Week 5, 9 for 130. Week 6, 16 for 162. Week 7, 15 for 171. Week 8, 9 for 81. A total of 88 receptions for 1,084 yards in 8 games.
Oh my God! Wow, bro, that is over 10 catches a game, over 100 yards a game, and a touchdown a game for 8 weeks straight. Oh my!
And that's the thing about it is, and he wasn't playing with the great quarterback, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. He was playing with Keaton Slovis, who has not the best arm and is just not the best quarterback. But the question is, like you said, you had guys like, now if I were to compare him to Josh Doxson was a 6'2" strictly jump ball specialist, right? And we've seen London can do other things, but it's like we saw Doxson, We saw that even Gandy Golden, who was 6'4", but didn't play like it. And then you even have guys like Mike Williams with the Chargers, who now he's good, but he wasn't doing much for the first couple of years. And just right, exactly. If you look back at the draft, these last really few years, I mean, Mike Evans is the last really big physical receiver to come out early in the draft that was good from day one that I can remember. All the other guys are the shiftier, the quicker, the more nifty guys. That's what makes me scared about Drake London.
Oh yeah, but after further review, I looked at the numbers one day and was just like, I'm gonna watch every game he played.
Yeah,
I went back and I looked and I was just like, he's impressive as hell. Something scares me about his game. He
trauma.
He gives me tight end vibes. He gives me undersized tight end vibes.
Right.
Do you see that as well?
Almost like Jordan Reed, if we're being honest. Yeah. He's a little taller than Jordan Reed. He's a little skinnier. But my thing is, Jordan Reed was basically a receiver, and he was incredible. So if he is Jordan Reed, is that a bad thing?
No, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. But I imagine with his, he got the basketball playing background. You know, that archetype for tight ends that excel in the league. But he has a smaller stature, he's a tall, lankier build guy. Yeah. He's catching everything, no matter where the ball's thrown. He adjusts his body in the air well. He tracks the ball in the he tracks the ball in the air well. And I don't know if I could see him consistently getting open on the next level.
Right, exactly.
Accurate pro comp for him, because it's easy to look at Mike Williams or Mike Evans, or it's easy to look at the bigger guys who failed. I don't even know what to call him. Is he some mix between a Kyle Pitts and a Jordan Reed? What this guy?
That's the thing is with the big receivers, they're either complete busts, or who was the one the Panthers drafted because Cam Newton would always throw high. It wasn't Kelvin Benjamin. He was one of them. It was Kelvin Benjamin, and then it was it LaFell or no
Devin Funchess?
Funchess, yes, exactly. Devin Funchess, where he's supposed to be this big, okay, well, Cam throws it high, well then Funchess will go up and get it, and we saw how that worked out. That it's tough because, especially when you compare people take him and run with it. But based on what he did in college, that's what I have to compare him, right? Based on what he did in college in terms of his ability to get the ball, track the ball, and be physical with the ball, I have to go with a Mike Evans, because he is a YAC guy. He is people think of smaller, quicker guys for YAC, but Drake London in college was a big time YAC guy. So to me, if I have to compare him to someone, I have to compare him to Mike Evans out. Now, will he be Mike Evans coming out? I don't want to say that.
If he's Mike Evans, you can sign me up for that right now.
Exactly.
Put that opposite Terry and let Carson go get it, because Carson going to throw a YOLO ball for days. And give him a target. I know everybody says Carson likes to throw the big body receivers. I think that's an overhyped notion. He threw to who was on the roster for him.
Right, exactly.
Greg Ward in 2019, bro.
Right.
But if he's Mike Evans, sign me up for that. But
sign me up.
Looking at the tape, it's so confusing to me, because I want to not like the prospect, because I want a faster, speedy. I pretty much want Terry clone opposite Terry.
Exactly. 4'3", quick feet, quick in and out of breaks. And it's London's not bad in and out of breaks. He's just not, not his thing. He's not Olave. He's not Garrett Wilson. I guess the question is, we always that. It makes sense to love that, because we have seen that consistently works. The guys who are good at that are consistently good, but there are plenty of guys in the league who aren't great at that. I feel so much of that though comes down to the coaches then and how they use that player. Because a player like Drake London, maybe he won't be the best against man coverage. Maybe though, in situations where you're playing against a lot of zone defenses, he knows where to sit in the zones, and he'll catch the ball. And once you catch the ball, he'll do something with it. I feel maybe he just needs to go to the right situation with a coach who is not just going to say, I need you to go out there and win one-on-one every time in man coverage. Because I don't think he's doing that the way I think Garrett Wilson is. But if he ends up in a situation where they force teams to play a lot of zone, then maybe I think he could be successful. As for whether or not that pertains to Washington, I would kind of lean towards no, because I mean Scott Turner, he can scheme it up, right? But I don't know that just that big body guy who can't necessarily separate on his own is what they want. I think they would love another Terry, a technician, and I would hate the idea of drafting a big guy just because he's big. If he's the best, I'm all aboard. But if he's just big, I don't want that. But at the same time, they've been trying to get a big guy in here, and it hasn't worked yet. So maybe they would fall in love with it.
For sure. And I know someone who would love to have it, and that's Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden would throw 1,700 fades to Drake London.
The straight bat, forced first down, second down, third down, fourth down. Didn't work. We're going to try it again next time. Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. He would give Carson a set of 4 plays, and all of them would say back shoulder fade to Drake London.
Right. Exactly. And meanwhile, Kirk was terrible at throwing the fade and was not a give your receiver a chance type of quarterback, which is another thing. If you get a jump ball guy, you need a quarterback who throws jump balls. And that was not Kirk. That is kind of Carson.
Yeah, Carson does that. Okay, so just to compare him to some of the receivers that come out of the same program that have thrived in the league recently, Robert Woods, Juju Smith-Schuster, Michael Pittman, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Where does Drake London's trajectory compare on the other guys that have come out of Southern Cal?
So you said it was Juju, who's Robert Woods, right? Robert Woods,
St. Brown,
and Mike Pittman. Honestly, so I think London is the best out of all of them. I will say that. Like coming out of college, I think he's the best, and his draft position will show that because he's going to be a top half of the first round guy. Pittman, Juju, Robert Woods was what, late first, or was he? I can't remember. Or he was second or third. He wasn't.
I don't think he was a first rounder.
Yeah, okay. I don't think so. I don't think any of those guys were first rounders, and London was sitting behind those guys, not Woods or Juju, but the other two. I think he is the best of them. And when you kind of paint it in that light, you say we had these 4 guys who came out, and they've all been good. They've been solid. Pittman was good last year with Wentz. If London could be better than them, then maybe there is something in the water at USC, and maybe we should be paying more attention to this guy. If all those guys have been successful and London can be better.
Hey man, if he's better than all those guys, you can sign me up and I'm all aboard. Robert Woods was a 2nd round pick. He was the 41st pick of the draft.
Pittman was too.
Bills. Yeah, and if Garrett London's trajectory outshines all of those guys, because Pittman and Carson had a good rapport. I mean,
they did
all he had there.
Yeah, right.
Last year, but I like what they did together. So we both don't agree that he's the best fit here. Where do you see him being selected?
So I can easily see, because I have no idea where any of these receivers will go. Now, the Patriots are obsessed with big receivers also, and it never works out, but they continue to take them. Now, they did trade for Devontae Parker, but I think I could still see New England as a spot. I think that the Packers also is another spot, because I think that Aaron Rodgers is more of a bigger, can move, but bigger guy. Because, Aaron Rodgers will give his guy back shoulder all day, right?
And put in the perfect spot.
Exactly. Whereas Patrick Mahomes, I think, is more of obviously these guys can play with anybody, but I think he's more of a quick twitch kind of guy. Maybe like a Jameson Williams be perfect there. So London, to me, makes sense either in Green Bay, either in, I think the Chargers are a sleeper because, Keenan Allen's, he might be in his last year or two there. And then at the very top, the Jets could go for him. That would kind of suck for him if they did, but I think that the Jets are our potential landing spot too. And then, the Falcons, right? Yep. They've had success with big guys. Calvin Ridge is out for the year. So of those spots, I think more than any of these receivers, he is dependent on the coaches and the quarterback, especially that he goes to. Because if he doesn't go to a team where they're going to give him chances just anytime, pretty much he has a one-on-one, and there's no safety help. If it's not an offense or quarterback that's going to give him those chances, I think a lot of what he can do will be wasted. Yeah,
and the way I see it is I see Atlanta and the Jets both taking receivers at number 8 and number 10, and I see it being some combination of Garrett Wilson and Drake London. I think those are going to be the first two receivers off the board because Drake London's measurables, teams can't get past that, and teams feel like they can work it. Zach Wilson can use all he can use all the weapons and help he can get down there. Like him, like that would be a good receiving core. Drake London, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore.
Right.
They got a little squad down
Still have
there.
Jamison Crowder too, who he's not a scrub just yet.
He's not. He's a technician in the slot.
Yeah.
I miss Jamison Crowder.
Me too.
And he was always available for us.
He was.
You can never discount a guy that's always on the field for you.
Exactly. Yeah,
so,
it's going to be real interesting. I can't wait to find out.
Bro, we're like 3 weeks from the draft. I am so ready, man. Like I don't think we're gonna be in the Drake London business. And a lot of the reason why I feel like Olave is the pick is because the first two receivers off the board are gonna be, to me, Drake London and Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson would be my number one pick for at 11 because I see Odell Beckham when I watch Garrett Wilson, man.
Same.
Like, that guy is absolutely filthy, but I think he's gonna be gone. I'm gonna knock on wood so he's not gone, but there's a lot of surprises coming, man. I can't wait for this draft.
Yes, it's because there's like no clear-cut stuff at the top. There's going to be just so much crazy, unexpected stuff. Jameson Williams being healthy would have, I think, maybe pushed Wilson down, but I think that the fact that he's hurt, caused Wilson to be the one, because teams love speed, but injured speed is not great. So, and if we end up with Olave, I'm not mad at that at all. Because I do know that the first receiver taken does not mean he will be the best player in the league. So I'm not tripping.
All right. So to close this out, I'm gonna just say it. Call your shot. Boom or bust. Is Drake London gonna boom or bust in the NFL?
I'm gonna say boom, honestly, because of the four guys who came before him. You look at just the Alabama factory of receivers, like it's hard to bet against these guys. I'm going to say boom, but I'm going to put an asterisk because I think it depends so much on where he ends up. But I'm going to say boom because if he was just a jump ball or if he was just physical or just could catch everything. But I think the fact that he can do stuff after the catch is huge. Like I think that's a big factor to his game. So, yeah, I'm going to say boom. What about you?
Okay. Just to be a contrarian, I'm going to say bust.
That's fair.
My Chris Sims card out. And
right. He's gonna suck.
He's gonna be, JJ Arthega Whiteside, like, one of those type of guys, man.
Right.
He's gonna turn out to be the best receiver ever because I'm saying. But all right, man. Go ahead and plug your channel before we go. Let people know where they can find you on social media, and let people know what role you'll be playing in our upcoming War Room mock draft that we're going to be having on the channel.
So at Tay in Todd podcast on Twitter, and then on YouTube, look at Tay and Todd podcast. Doing our mock drafts, doing breakdowns of Carson Wentz. Have some other stuff going on once we hit the dead period of the offseason. And I will be playing Scott Turner. If you've watched Rio's of our last group chat pod, you heard me say that I really don't care about the defense or really doing much defensively in the draft. I'm all offense, and I'm going to play that role by playing Scott Turner and saying I need weapons so we can average more than 20 points a game. So I'm going to be Scott Turner, and I think that I may be upset at the end of the draft that we do, Rio, but I'm gonna literally pound the table if I have to.
Hell yeah, man! I need that, man. Who could better play Scott Turner than someone who just fixates himself on evaluating film of quarterbacks? I couldn't think of a better Scott Turner representative. I'm still deciding whether I'm going to be Eric Stokes or Chris Polian, but I'm going to be one of the guys in the trenches doing work behind the scenes. Jalen, Alex, Tay, and our boy Zach making his group chat premiere on our next pod. It's going to be fun. Dope. I cannot wait for it, man. Until next time, hail to the Commanders. Take command. Salute. Deuces.
Thanks for having me.
Always.